is now being shown. So it's the very experienced Pip Hammond, multiple champion Pip Hammond, on the outside of the front row. The newer kid on the block, Ben Bateman next to him. The red lights go out and away we go. It was Ben Bateman that won yesterday's race. He looked thoroughly exhausted after 15 minutes of work yesterday. He's lost the lead at the start of this one though. Pip Hammond it is that has got the best of the starts from the outside of the front row. He swept through into the lead of the race. It's Terry Roughton that's there in third place in the Citroen AX. It looks like Jason Wood holding on to fourth position in the red Nova. So on Vox Valves Day here at Donington Park, we've got 3 Novas at the sharp end of this race, with in 5th place the number 1 car of Chris Deere, the reigning champion, or the champion from last year, being replaced by Stuart Place for the 2023 season, and it's Lee Scott, number 72, that completes the top 6 pool.
Yes, and Jason Woods managed to stay in 4th place. He had a problem. He changed his engine in qualifying, and unfortunately he had clutch slip in the race yesterday, which meant he didn't get off the line, which was quite entertaining for us, but not for him. And he's managed to secure that now that his clutch is working correctly. So as we enter my favourite corner, we've got Pip Hammond, Ben Bateman. Pip Hammond making advantage of that outer line off the start, because a nice dry line there, and was able to out-drag Ben to the first corner.
He was indeed. It looked like Jason Wood had lost a position to Chris Deere there as they went through McLean's that time, and dropped back to 5th, I think that would have been. There's James Hazelhurst. I think he's
looks like Ben's trying to out-drag Pip Hammond down the straight, but we saw this yesterday, but Pip Hammond's got the better line as they enter this first left-hander, and indeed Pip retains the place. And we do notice there that Stuart Place hasn't come out. He had a puncture in the race 1 yesterday in his borrowed XR2, but it looks like they had gearbox problems as a result from that. So unfortunately we won't have the entertaining race we saw between the Deere and Place, which we've seen all seeing. But you see Chris Deere has a much better start today. He's found himself in 4th place.
Yeah, he was 6th in yesterday's race, wasn't he? So he's got ahead of Jason Wood, but he's lost out there to Lee Scott, in fact. So Lee Scott in the Fiesta, another multiple champion in Classic Stock Catch. He's there in 4th place, but Deere, the current champion before, is almost getting into the back of Lee Scott there. There must have been a fag paper between them. That was about it.
That's such a tricky corner. As I say, there's a nice dry line there, but you're braking and the camber's all wrong. And Christie did very well to avoid the back of the multiple channel. I know we were talking about 7 championships, but I was speaking to Lee today, and he reckons it's 9 he's done in what was Classic Stock Catch. It used to be called Stock Catch Class B years ago. It looks like he's at 9 championship winners. So it's great to see him back up the sharp end. He started at 7th, so he's done well to come up to, what is he, in 4th place now?
Yeah, so he's 4th at the end of lap 1. Pip Hammond led by just about 6/10 of a second from Ben Bateman at the end of the first lap. Here is one of the Vauxhalls, the Nova of number 41. Jason Wood being chased by number 89, Richard Kelsall, so that's 6th and 7th. And Neil Dudman, number 48, is just behind them in his Peugeot 205 as well. But it's Nova's 1st and 2nd, the Citroen AX 3rd. But Terry Roughton now coming under a bit of pressure there from Lee Scott.
Yes, he's going to have to be careful. These AX is only a 1.4, but it is a multi-valve, and Lee Scott in his 1.6 8-valve Fiesta will be all over the back of Terry. Terry's had a cracking weekend. He's one of our mature drivers, but he's really loving it and relishing these conditions.
Yeah, so he's doing well in 3rd place, a long-time competitor in Stock Catch as well, before Classic Stock Catch, as we watch Lee Scott try and make that move down the inside into the Fox Yeses, but decides better of it in the end, so he stays in 4th position, and these 3 just a couple of seconds now, should think, behind the top 2.
Yeah, Lee was just trying to make sure that Terry knew he was there. Look, Terry's gone defensive now. Now that's a bit damp on that line. It's just been a bad move by Terry. Yes, it looks like Lee's going to try and get the car back, but no, Terry's currently
excellent driving there from our mature driver.
Yeah, so Terry holds on to the position for the moment, and now Lee Scott coming under pressure again from Chris Deere, who is alongside him into the braking area for Goddard's. Scott can hold on to the lead. Bit sideways there was Chris Deere as he has to back out of that. He loses a couple of car lengths, and that might bring himself back into the clutches of
Jason Wood there. Jason Wood's behind, who's had a much better day yesterday. And Titch Kershaw, he's all on the back of them. So we've got this nice little train. Lee Scott just letting Terry know he's gone for a dive down the inside on the damp part of the track, and he's made it work. What a fantastic move, but can Terry get the cut back? He's trying to get the cut back, trying to get the overlap. No, Lee has just managed to secure that place. Great move by our champion there, ex-champion now.
Oh, great drive as well from Finn Groom, because he's up to 11th place from the back of the grid.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, well, yesterday he was struggling really badly. He started 22nd on the grid. And that's fantastic. But yesterday in the race, he had a rear wheel bearing go, which meant he had extra steering on the right-handers, which made it very exciting. So they changed the wheel bearing, and yes, what a fantastic move to come up to 11th after only a couple of laps in.
Right, Lee Scott now he's got ahead of Terry Roughton. He's just starting to put a bit of daylight between himself and the blue car. Can he catch the two leaders, Pip Hammond and Ben Bateman? In yesterday's race, these three were covered at the end of the race by only just over 1 second. So I think Scott certainly got the pace. He got the fastest lap yesterday as well with a 1:58.96. Best lap of the race so far is a 2:02.36. So the lap times aren't much off a dry time now.
That really surprises me. I know that these tyres, we always on different tyres, and the tyres we used to use were pretty poor in the wet, and these are more road type tyres, and they don't seem to be affecting us whatsoever. It's quite surprising with these damp conditions that these tyres are really holding their own. Like you said, the times aren't a lot slower, which is a fantastic show. Sorry, we lost the picture for the moment. We're looking towards the timing screens, but Pip Hammond, he's another champion. Great experience there, staying in front of Ben Bateman as we get the feedback again. And the father and son groom team are back together. Now let's hope what happened yesterday doesn't happen, where Finn ended up going at the back of his father. In fact, Finn has already gone past his father. So he's back on this tail, and he finds himself, where does he find himself now? Is that 10th place he's in?
I think he's up to 10th, if not 9th place, I would think, by the time he comes over the timing line. Just ahead is Andy Philpotts in the Fiesta. Neil Dudman's there as well in the Peugeot. And you've got Kelsall Woods up ahead. So I think Finn Groom here will be eyeing sort of 6th position here.
They're two cars gone wide. Neil Dudman and Andy Philpotts went a bit wide. That's given Finn Groom the inside line as they go down the Craner curves. Put in, yes, and he's got that secured. Andy didn't want to go on the damp patch, but now he's all over the back of Neil Dudman. Neil Dudman not having such a good race as he had yesterday. Yesterday he found himself in 3rd place at one point. But Finn Groom, what a fantastic drive from this young man.
Yeah, going very well. He's had a pretty good season. I think it was sort of halfway through last year he made his first appearance, wasn't it?
He did, yes, rightly. And he had a few good finishes. He had an unfortunate incident at Pembrey last year. Oh, and Graham Rees in what's left of my old XR2 there, going off, finding himself on the grass. Yes, he did really well. He was up into 3rd place at Pembrey, came off, had a little accident, shook his confidence, but this year he's managed to shake that off, and he's really mixing it with the big boys here as we see this lovely little train, and these are all arguing for the 4th place.
Yes, so, a bit further back, it's 6th, isn't it, with Jason Wood there at the head of the group. A bit further up, you've got Terry Roughton in 4th, Chris Deere in 5th. But now you've got them almost three of them side by side down to the Fogarty S's. You've got Kelsall on the inside of Dudman, but it's Dudman that's ahead of Kelsall now. Finn Groom is following both of them. And you've got the Peugeot 205, you've got the Fiesta XR2, and the Fiesta XR2 all together.
Chris Deere coming down the inside. No, he just realised it's a bit damper than expected. You can see the marks he left, and look, it didn't pay off, that little dive. Now he finds himself 5-6 car lengths behind just from that little mistake.
Yeah, so out of the Melbourne hairpin they come. And it's going to be very busy into Goddard's, isn't it? Because the side-by-side Titch Kelsall on the outside line of Jason Wood going into the corner, but he's got that wrong. He's made a mistake. From Kelsall. He spins around. He goes to the back of that group. He's on the grass briefly. He's fallen behind Andrew Thorpe as well, so down to about 12th position. As for 4th place, it's side-by-side. Chris Deere's going to have the inside line for Redgate Corner. That drier line getting wider and wider and wider now, isn't it, on the way up to Redgate Corner. And Chris Deere, last year's champion, has finally got that move done. He's up to 4th place now as Dudman up the inside of Wood for 6th place as well at Redgate Corner.
And then Finn trying to get the overlap on Jason Wood as they go down the Craner curves. Now you can see this dry line is getting wider and wider, but we saw there by Richard Kelsall there, you just get your back wheel onto it and it just throws you straight round. But yes, Finn Groom has managed to get past Jason Wood. What a fantastic show from this young man. He finds himself that he must be in 7th place now.
Yeah.
Wow, from 22nd on the grid. Now, didn't I tell you this was the fella that was? These young men, Ben Bateman, we see in our second Nova there, car 93, he's our other youngster, showing that he can mix it with the big boys, and Finn Groom, these two young lads. It's great to see these young lads wanting to join our ageing championship.
Pip Hammond, he's sort of in the middle, isn't he? In his 30s.
He's still young to me, yeah, he's in his 30s, yeah.
Okay, but he's leading the way then from the 93 car, Ben Bateman in 2nd place. So this is the reverse of the top two from yesterday. Pip Hammond has won lots and lots of stock catch races down the years. He's raced in other categories as well, Porsche 924s, he's done some historic racing too. even done some oval racing as well at times as Pip Hammond, so very experienced. Also having done some oval racing is Ben Bateman, of course.
That's right, mini stocks and as well. Just looking at the lap times there, Lee Scott is not getting any closer. Their lap times are pretty much identical, and he's not going to get any closer to these two. It looks like Ben is just going to sit behind the master himself and just enjoy his second place trophy. I did joke to him yesterday. He'd got a first place trophy yesterday. He's had 3 thirds, and I said you need a second to get the full set, and I didn't realise he was going to take it literally.
No, he's just sitting there behind Pip Hammond, just waiting to collect that trophy. So, everything going on for 4th place and back. Dudman there now just behind Chris Deere because he's got ahead of Terry Roughton now. So, I think you said a few minutes ago Neil Dudman wasn't having such a good race yesterday.
No, he seems to he's only took about 3 cars in about a lap or so. So, what a fantastic show from him. He's back up mixing it with his teammate there, Chris Deere. They're all in the same team. But keeping my eye on Finn Groom, I predict that Finn is really going to be all over the back of Terry, and he's going to try and get the overlap but down the crane of curves. But as you can see, it's wide. Oh, Neil Dudman has got by Chris Deere.
Yeah.
What a fantastic move. Commentator's curse again, saying he wasn't doing so well, and up he finds himself in 4th position. What a fantastic drive.
Finn Groom a bit sideways there. He got a wheel out on the curb, which is still a bit damp.
Well, after his car turning right extra, I don't think that was a problem for him. He can certainly handle the motor car when it's sliding. And as they go up to McLean's corner, my favourite corner, that little train there of Dudman, Deere, Roughton, Finn Groom, and Jason Wood, and Andy Philpott's now all over the back of Jason Wood.
Yeah, he is indeed. So Jason Wood sort of gradually trickled back down the order in this race, hasn't he, after a strong start. He was 3rd or 4th at the beginning. He's down to 8th position now and under threat from Andy Philpotts for that place as well. So it's Dudman now 4th, Chris Deere 5th, Terry Roughton is 6th, and Finn Groom, well, I thought he might be looking to break into the top 6. He could actually do a little bit better than that. There's still 3 minutes to go. I think we're going to get a couple more laps to go in this race.
I think there's about two more laps to go, but Finn will be eyeing up Terry. But as you said, Terry's been racing a very long time. Back in the Stockhatch A's, I think he also had a dabble in the Stockhatch B's. Terry making a very defensive line, trying to get up the inside of Chris Deere to get that place back. And also Finn Groom is trying to follow him through. Wow, this is going to be very terrifying for this final chicane. But no, they're going to be side by side, Finn Groom and Chris Deere. Chris Deere got the inside line, which means Finn will have to go on the damp patch, and we can see what happens when that happens. But no, they stick it in a nice little line and get round safely, ready for the next tour.
Yeah, so 2 more laps to go then, and it's a great gaggle of cars that are not suffered by very much. Going back to Andrew Thorpe, I think he's in P12, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, well, 11th maybe. Across the line, 12th in fact, as Deere and Roughton so they're going to go 3 wide here. Can Finn Groom get past both of them?
Finn has pounced. He's now got the inside line going down to the first bit. He's gone past both of them. What a young man. What a fantastic move. This is just as outrageous as you Mighty Minis after that move we saw in the Mighty Minis, and that was just as outrageous. What a fantastic, he finds himself in 5th place from 22nd on the grid.
Absolutely. Now, there's, I guess he could still catch Neil Dudman as well before the end. There is Scott, there is Dudman, and then you can see Finn Groom going through. So if he can get his head down now in the last lap and a half, he could just about catch Neil Dudman before the end of the race, I would think. And that easy if he could escape these cars behind him, because you've got Roughton trying to get back up the inside of Chris Deere again, and he's got that place back. They've been changing positions every other corner, haven't they? Dudman, Deere and Roughton for the last lap or so. So that's really exciting stuff. But you can see Finn Groom is breaking away from that pack.
He is breaking away. I think that overtake did slow Chris Deere down a little. He's looking on the inside. This is fantastic to see this with these multiple championships. It's great on Vauxhall Valves Day to have 2 Vauxhalls in the lead. I don't think that's happened all season. Ben Bateman. Ben
Bateman. Just as you were saying it.
Do you know what? That's the second time that's happened to me, isn't it?
Ben Bateman is out of the race. He's pulled off at Melbourne Hairpin. So I think presumably Pip Hammond's still out there in the lead of the race. But Ben Bateman is not going to get that second place trophy after all, Paul.
Oh dear, that's it. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to stop picking up these drivers here. But as we come down to the head, we see the Chris Deere and Terry Roughton car side by side, and it looks like Chris Deere is going to try and get a cut back, but no, Terry shut the door, where it meant Chris Deere had to really stamp on the brakes. But now they are bumper to bumper as they go down the straight, and who's going to go for the inside line? That's going to be a little damp.
So Neil Dudman is now up to third position. Finn Groom is 2.6 seconds behind him, probably too far back to get a podium from the back of the grid, but a good drive this has been nevertheless for Finn Groom. The two XR2Is there, the injected cars going side by side, and it's Titch Kelsall getting the better of Andy Philpotts. Rick Groom has got a 5-second penalty. That's Finn's dad for exceeding track limits. He's in 10th place on the road at the moment. The clock counts down to 0. Pip Hammond leads by 4.6 seconds from Lee Scott, and we're on the last lap.
Oh, that's such a shame for Ben Bateman there. He's been having such a great latter half of the season. That looks like it might have been an electrical issue there. But great. Neil Dudman, again, after I said that he hadn't been doing so well, he's got his head down and is really, I do believe that will be his first podium. It'll be a fantastic result for this gentleman.
Certainly will, as they have half a lap left to go. So, yeah, before yesterday's result, Neil Dudman's best was 7th, so he improved that yesterday. Now looking for a first podium, so he'll be very pleased with that, I am sure. As we are watching Chris Deere go through in the yellow Peugeot 205, it really does stand out in that livery, doesn't it? It's absolutely magnificent. He's there at the moment in 6th position, and Jason Wood back up to 7th. We'll see if he can break into the top 6 before the end. But there's Pip Hammond in the lead, heading down to the hairpin for the final time.
Yeah, and I think Chris Deere has done an excellent job. I know he's got rear suspension. He's not doing what it should be. He's had a problem for the last couple of meetings, and he's done really well to stay in the position. But there he is, Pip Hammond. He nearly got the treble at Cadwell a few weeks ago, but unfortunately his car didn't want to finish the race, and this is going to be great recompense for that as he comes round to show that why he's a multiple champion. I respect this man so much. He's done a fantastic job, and there he is for a win at Donington with Lee Scott, a fantastic second. Looking back for third, it looks like it's going to be Neil Dudman, but they were still fighting for the offside places, and there are Neil Dudman, fantastic result for him. And there's Finn, he is right, he's flashing his lights, he's right to be impressed. He has got up to 4th place from 22nd on the grid. What a fantastic drive.
Yeah, really good. So Pip Hammond, third win of the season for him in the Everything Motorsport Classic Stock Cats Championship. Lee Scott, a strong second. Neil Dudman, a fantastic first podium for him, third, but a very good drive from Finn Groom, as you're saying. Terry Roughton's had a pretty good weekend, an 8th, I think it was yesterday, and a 5th place today. And Chris Deere, the reigning champion from 2022, back in
a marvellous weekend. I mean, we haven't had this jumbled up for all season. It's been a fantastic weekend to see. I think all the marks, barring the Metro of Terry Deere, are covered in the top 10 places, which is fantastic to see, to say how we've got this class right. All these cars have a minimum weight that they have to carry with that to try and equalise the performance of these vehicles. This track is known to be a leveller, and it's sure shown here. Some circuits, they favour certain cars, but this layout of Donington levelled the playing field, and that has been shown in the results today. Fantastic drives by all drivers.
Yeah, and last round of the season as well, so we go again in 2024.
In 2024, I'm hoping to be back out, so you'll have to find someone else that has similar dulcet tones to myself. But hopefully I'll be back out in my XR2 to see if I can still mix it with the big boys. But there we are with the results.
Yeah, you're irreplaceable, by the way, Paul.
Oh, thank you very much. You smooth talker.
Anyway, let's have a look at the results then. Pip Hammond, it was 8 laps completed for the number 71 car. He was 3.67 seconds clear of Lee Scott in second place, number 72. Third was number 48, Neil Dudman. Fourth, number 91, Finn Green, from the back of the grid. A really good drive from him. Fifth to number 5, Terry Roughton. Sixth, number 1, Chris Deere in the Peugeot. Seventh was 41, Jason Wood in the Nova. Eighth, 89, Titch Kelsall's Fiesta. Ninth, number 6, Andy Philpotts. Rick Groom's 5-second penalty will cost him 1 place. He'll fall back behind Andrew Thorpe. So number 3, Andrew Thorpe, will complete the top 10. From number 92, Rick Groom. Then Martin Rogers, James Hazelhurst, and Lucas Dryden. And then Graham Rees, Darren Bastingthwaite, Pete Osgoby, Hannah Newton, Terry Deere, and Alan Julia. I think completing the finishes with Ben Bateman, sadly the non-finisher there, Paul.
Yes, non-finisher, but I'm trying to do some maths in my head. I think Ben has managed to secure the 3rd place overall in the championship with the finishes that James has got. I'm going to have to sit down and do some maths, but I think he may have secured that. There were 4 points between them. I know he didn't finish this race, but he won yesterday, and James was quite a way down the grid. So I think he has secured the 3rd place. So it's a bit of recompense, but a bit of a disappointment for him after his excellent drive yesterday. yesterday.
Yeah, and second in the championship was Chris Deere this year. And
That's
Stuart
correct.
Placey, we didn't see out there in that race.
No, he managed to secure that at the last meeting. So there's our top 3 spots for the end of year trophies. Yeah, it'd be sad to finish, but we look forward to annoying you again in 2024. Thank you very much, everybody, and Ian.
Thank you very much, Paul. We'll head downstairs now. Andy McEwen is ready to speak to our race winner, Pip Hammond.
Well, as always, excitement out on track in the Everything Motorsport Classic Stock Hatch Championship. The race finishing just in the nick of time, actually, because as I stepped out of the commentary box from where I was watching that race, the heavens started to open. It stopped again now, but I think we're in for one of those afternoons, aren't we, where the weather sort of comes and goes a bit throughout the day. But that didn't hold back Pip Hammond, who goes one better than yesterday, second place in race 1, but gets the victory this time around, and we can have a chat with him now. Well, that's a bit more like it. Pip, back where you belong.
Yeah, well, I took it personally yesterday. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Ben really came of age this weekend. I think he really composed drive, and he was creeping closer there, and he just seemed to lose drive out of the chicane a couple of laps from the end. So I'm not sure what it was, but I think he can hold his head high and feel proud of the performance he's put in, and obviously I should do the same.
Absolutely. I mean, it was going to be a fascinating battle. He was closing in there, but you look comfortable out there even in the greasy conditions. So were you confident that you could have fended him off anyway?
Yeah, to be honest, with it getting slightly greasier in the last 2 laps, I thought that might play to my strengths. But I think, to be honest, Ben's pretty strong in all conditions now. He's got a few years behind him, and like I say, he's done really well this weekend, and I'm quite relieved to have got to the end. I was kind of hoping someone would stick it in the fence for me and bring it to an end. So. Like I said, I guess it sort of killed the contest a little bit when he pulled off, but I'm really pleased for the win, and I'm pleased for Neil getting his first podium as well. So.
There's something about Classic Stock Hatch, isn't there? You can't stay away. It's one of my absolute favourite 750 Motor Club Championships, and it's nice now, isn't it, to have new names and new cars as well starting to appear near the pointy end.
Absolutely, and what separates us from like a one-make series is the cars are all close, but all these different models change gear in different places, brake in different places. They're all strong in various different points of the track, so it opens up a lot more opportunity for overtaking and sort of various winners. Not so much this season as it's turned out, but usually there's a decent spread of all the different marks doing well in the championship, and obviously we've now got some drivers under 30, which is really good. Because I aged out of that quite a while ago. So it's really good for the championship's health to have these young drivers coming through, and long may it continue.
Absolutely, echo those thoughts. Congratulations, Pip, on the race victory. Now, Lee Scott is there. Sorry. Here is Lee Scott, our second place finisher then. Lee, congratulations, back on the podium. How was that race for you?
Fantastic, really. Got a good start, made good progress through sort of the turn 1 and the first lap, and yeah, kind of held on to it from there. So it was really good. Got really lucky for me, unlucky for Mr. Bateman. Pulled out at the end, so that was unfortunate for him, but that promoted me up to second today because I wouldn't have caught him otherwise.
How does the Fiesta fare normally in these greasy conditions then? Is this a car that relishes that sort of weather? Are you a driver who relishes those sort of conditions?
Good question. I don't know the answer to. The Fiesta's typically a pretty good handling car. Doesn't necessarily have the power of some of the others. So Donington, it's a long circuit, quite a lot of straights. I tend to say probably overall doesn't favour the Fiesta. Do these conditions? I don't know.
Well, you didn't do badly. Second place, I reckon maybe it helped you out a bit. Well done then on that second place for Lee Scott. Now, for our third place finisher, a new name on the podium. Always something nice to see. Neil Dubman, congratulations. You must be elated.
Oh, it's just amazing. It's been my end of my second year, and last year was a massive learning curve. Never raced before. This year was just as mad, and we're getting better and better throughout the year. So I couldn't do it without Adam at Schaefer Racing, Chris at Absolute Alignment, who got me into this mess in the first place. My wallet is now really, really empty, thanks Chris, and also Joe Green for the transport, and also my partner Charlotte. When 2 years ago I said I'm going to be a racing driver, and she just laughed and she said go and do what you want to do. So yeah, big thanks to those 3 guys, and yeah, all the guys in the classic stock being so welcoming, brilliant.
You're right, though, really. This has kind of been coming all year. You have been steadily improving. Do you feel that something just clicked today, or was this always sort of on the cards?
I think something clicked at Snet in the last round, and I got confidence, but I had 2 DNS when running 4th and 5th, and a big accident when Jason lost his brakes, came into the side of me, and then I just thought, well, if that's the worst that can happen, let's just go that extra mile. So it's developing the cars, developing me, and we're on the upward trajectory, so watch out next year.
Excellent, massive congratulations, well done to Neil and all of our podium finishers then in our final Classic Stock Hatch race of the weekend. Right then, the High-Tech Electronic Materials Alfa Romeo Championship cars are just beginning their green flag lap now. The weather's closing in, I'm heading inside. Let's head back up there as well to Ian and Josh.